Hey people, it is Sunday, September the 28th. It is 3:27 in the afternoon. And it's around 24 degrees Celsius. Outside, I'm currently inside Ossington subway station. Just took the train from downtown. And I'm going to be heading north up Ossington Avenue up to a neighborhood by the name of Davenport, but mainly I'll be checking out a street called Geary Avenue, because a popular travel magazine has recently done a listing of the so-called coolest neighborhoods in the world. And some Toronto neighborhoods have made the cut in past issues, but this year, the Davenport neighborhood is listed as one of the coolest neighborhoods in the world. And I think that's mainly just due to Geary Avenue being within that area. Looking towards Ossington and Bloor. So I'm going to head north up Ossington for a little ways, a bit north of DuPont, and then I'm going to take a walk along the so-called coolest street in the coolest neighborhood in Toronto, according to Time Out magazine. And this is not the first time I've done a video of Geary Avenue. They have a festival every year, sort of like an art festival of sorts, and I did a video of that before. Once we get there, you'll see the street is not really much to look at. It's basically a bunch of old industrial buildings, but lots of them have been converted to other uses, such as coffee shops, artist studios, jam spaces, recording studios, kind of cool indie type stores. You'll see what I mean. But if you didn't know what sorts of places were inside these buildings, it still just looks like a kind of basic looking old industrial street built along a rail corridor. The CP rail corridor runs parallel. And lots of those old buildings were there mainly because of that reason. And it's just a few blocks long, really, the interesting part of it anyway. But I'd say Geary Avenue has sort of had this thing going for it for at least the last 10 years or so. I guess it's taken Time Out magazine that long to notice it. I think past issues have listed Ossington and certain parts of Queen West as the coolest parts of Toronto. Unlike my last video though, this will just be a regular day on Geary Avenue, not during a busy festival. So we'll see what's going on a nice sunny Sunday in early autumn. A summer-like day, really. Maybe there'll be some activity, maybe it'll be pretty quiet. See, Ossington here is pretty much just a residential stretch. I think the only part of Ossington that isn't mainly residential is the part between Dundas and Queen, which was once listed as the coolest area in Toronto previously. You can see there are a few old buildings that look like they used to be convenience stores or that sort of thing. Most of it has been converted to residential. Well, this is still a business. This one has been converted. These were no doubt stores at one time. Some pretty big doors on this. I wonder what this is. And this is the West End part of Toronto. Old Toronto, that is. There's a laundromat, George's. There are lots of places called George's in Toronto, I noticed. Not sure what that is. It's a nice building though. Kind of a mix of semi-detached houses and some fully detached houses here on this part of Ossington. Different housing styles. I think a lot of these homes go back about 100 years or so. There's something else there. Looks like a coffee shop or something. It's not open right now, I don't think. Little grocery store on the corner. So a fair number of little commercial buildings mixed in here, but not any sense of a true commercial strip though. I think the closest commercial strip running north-south in this area is on Dovercourt, a little area called Dovercourt Village. Kind of like the old housing stock here. It's not the nicest, but it's sturdy. Big old front porches. Some of these houses are probably $1.5 million, even if it's a semi-detached house. All right, there's DuPont. If I can make this light. That new development there replaced an old industrial building. It was all derelict, covered with graffiti. It was a bit of a landmark in the area for a long time. If you go back in time on Google Street View, you can probably see that old building. And you can see all the way to One Bloor West. That bus didn't come and block it. All right, now here's the rail corridor, the CP rail corridor. So there's a lot of industry clustered all along DuPont, along the rail corridor, as well as on Geary, where we're heading. Although now, as I mentioned, a lot of it has been converted to other uses on Geary. I think when some of these old industrial spaces became available, local bands would use them as jam spots and that sort of thing, and it sort of mushroomed from there. And some friends of mine who are in local bands had some spots on Geary where they would rehearse. We've arrived. So let's check out the coolest street in Toronto according to Time Out magazine. Let me see if I can get on the shadier side here though, walking west. Got the sun kind of getting low. Got the Geary Avenue Parquet. And you see old garages. Oh, can you feel the coolness yet? It's definitely a lot quieter than last time I walked along here during that festival. You can find that video on the channel if you're curious about that. So Davenport Road is to the north of here. That's the northern boundary of the neighborhood by the same name. When I first saw that listing in the ranking, I was thinking Davenport. I was thinking they were referring to someplace on Davenport Road. And I was like, where on Davenport is cool? I was really trying to think. And then once you look at the boundaries of the neighborhood, you can see that Geary Avenue is sort of right in the middle. And I was like, ah, there you go. That's what they were talking about. This old building could be put to use. Not even sure if those upper floors are occupied or not. We're not in the heart of the so-called cool part yet. Once we cross Dovercourt. I've said it before, but I find the built form of the street to be not to my liking, really. Even though there are interesting businesses and things going on, the street itself is not much to look at. It doesn't seem like a very fun place to just come and hang out, but I'm probably wrong about that. I'm sure a lot of people have a great time hanging out on some of the patios that might be along here, inside some of the coffee shops. It just doesn't have the kind of continuous old street wall of charming commercial buildings like you see on other streets that are considered to be kind of cool and popular, like your Queen streets and your colleges, Ossington, that part between Dundas and Queen. Or really about a dozen other streets I can think of that seem more inviting to me than Geary Avenue. And much more busy with pedestrians and that sort of thing. Old auto body shops. Looks like most of these are still being used for their original purpose. But you can't really tell what's going on, I guess, until you take a closer look. Like you can see over here. It's like an ice cream spot here. Got like a coffee shop. You see hints of hipness, I guess. Ooh, the sun is strong right now. Got a sandwich place here, Dark Horse. All right, let's go back to the other side. Back into the shade over here. And I think this stretch here has some interesting businesses. Wonder how many people came to visit Geary Avenue after that list came out. And I wonder how many of them were not expecting to see what it actually looks like here. Here's a spot. Blood Brothers Brewing. There's the rail corridor right there. And just an old industrial park type building here. Still have lots of old tenants from before the cool factor. And we got the new arrivals here. Big Trouble Pizza and Burgers. Right next door to Lisgar Motors. I guess that's what makes it cool, right? Got a hip restaurant beside an auto body place or whatever it is. Got a bakery and pastry place. Son of a Butcher. Another spot here. General Public. Right beside AWA Windows and Doors. Your radiator serviced across the street. Get a tune-up, oil change. And then you can buy some reptiles here. I think this place used to be on Parliament Street, or a place similar to it anyway. Looks like something new is moving in here. Looks like they're building a patio. Another restaurant across the street, by the looks of it. Got a spot there. Plumbing supplies. You can find everything on Geary Avenue. This is something. The Root Down. And north of Brooklyn has a location here. It's a pizza place. Beside the Greater Good. There's Lansdowne, or no, sorry, Dufferin. Wrong street. There's the Suffer and Dufferin bus. Shield my face from the sun here. Everything's just blazing down. So I think that was the so-called cool part of Geary we just walked through. There's a bit more here, as you can see. A gallery. It's like a vintage shop over there. Got a huge brick store here. One of the ugliest buildings in the whole area, I think, here. It's a furniture store, for those who don't know. So the store is called King Cobra, the vintage store, across the street. So maybe the coolness will continue to spread down through this part of the street. I didn't walk along this part of Geary last time because the festival didn't go this far. It just ended at Dufferin. Geary Factory Lofts. Looks like a pretty neat place. Got an indoor golf range here. Got an old classic car. The Morning Star restaurant beside an auto place. See, new developments are popping up all around the area here. I don't think anything of note is in this building other than lots of graffiti. Geary Ave Rehearsal. Is that one of those spaces I was talking about? Bands can rehearse. Sounds like it. Looks like I've hit a dead end here. I had no idea this was going to happen. Got a boxing gym. Yeah, I have hit the end of Geary Avenue, and there's no escape other than back the way I came. Well, I guess I might as well start to wrap up the video here. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the coolest neighborhood in Toronto, according to Time Out magazine. Definitely a different vibe than last time I walked through here during the festival. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What were your impressions of Geary Avenue? And be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as at My Merch store, or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue. And it's very bright. There we go. I will continue.